The first speaker is the founder of IATP and now the Secretary of State of Minnesota, Mark Ritchie.
Thank you, Jim, and congratulations to all of you who've built communities and coherence back in your hometown. Congratulations to the staff and volunteers at IATP, especially to you, and congratulations to the whole community that's now coming together to take this next important step from isolation to a gathering, and hopefully from a gathering to an independent network going forward. 22 years ago, when the Institute for Agricultural Trade Policy was being created, it was a time of great public outcry about the economic crisis facing small towns and rural communities. It was in the newspapers, it was a very public discussion. And over those past 22 years, much of that crisis has remained, but it has begun to shift and change. And the public's attention right at this moment is more on Wall Street, on the banks, on the international economic crisis. But maybe while the attention of the public and the media is someplace else, it's the perfect time to come together and to begin building the economic and the social and the cultural ties that we can do here today to go from the bottom up. I'm now serving as the elected Secretary of State. And although that job has several different parts, and some of you I've met because our office is the main place where businesses and nonprofits come and talk to the state government, my main job is making sure that people feel welcome and invited into the electoral political process. That means making sure that everybody feels able and welcome to run for political office if you would like to, and making sure that everyone who's eligible feels welcome and able to vote and to participate in the elections, which all of you know are either happening right now in your communities or on November 4th will be the final day for elections. This is an unusual year because it will be the year where in my lifetime the greatest number of people will participate in the election. And I know from talking to many of you at other meetings, many members of your community are very interested this year in the elections and also see how this democratic process is organized here in the United States. It's not a perfect system. There are many things that we can and must do better, but it is a system that makes it possible for most people to be able to vote. Some of you in the room here or your family members, friends, and colleagues may not know it, but Minnesota is one of a few states in the country, along with Wisconsin, that allows you to come on Election Day and vote even if you have not registered beforehand. In many states around the country, you are forced to register about a month before, and if you don't register, you can't vote. But in Minnesota and in Wisconsin, everyone who's eligible, if you're a citizen, if you're over 18, those are the main issues, you can come in on Election Day and still register and still vote. And this is a message that would be very important to get out as a practical thing for your community. But what's more important long-term is that to build the kind of network that you've been talking about and to use that network to help address the problems of job, transportation, cultural issues, it's a matter of being part of this political system. Tomorrow, you'll see some greetings from your state senator, Amy Klobuchar, from the state congressman, Keith Ellison, and from others. And tonight, you had a greeting from the elected mayor of this city. Each of these individuals and many others are part of the political community who want to hear from you about the issues that you see in your community, but they especially want to hear from you about solutions to problems. Amy Klobuchar and Keith, two of many, but two very special people, are especially interested in solutions. And so this gathering is really about the first step in a solution to one problem, the problem of isolation. But I think what we all know is that beyond that, the question of jobs and education and healthcare and the practical problems are the things that need real solutions. This country's economy is going through many, many changes. And our rural communities will go through the same changes, and they will see a certain amount of turmoil in this period. You and your community represent a stable part of that economy. More and more of your neighbors will come to recognize and appreciate and respect the contributions that you are making. But it will be a time of great turmoil, and we will all need to be working together and networking to see how to create that new future. What's exciting to me is that 22 years ago, when we were creating the Institute for Agriculture and Trade Policy, we had a kind of small picture or small idea about trying to deal with the economic crisis in rural Minnesota. And we were struggling with a kind of a limited vision. Today, 22 years later, we have this much wider world. And we're able to see that wider world because you have come to this state, come to this country and to this state, introduced our state and our people to a much wider world, and that has helped change and transform the ideas that people have about what's possible to create for the next generation, about what's possible to do right now to make life better right this moment, and the ways that we can come together to do that. I'm very happy tonight that some of the local people from St. Cloud have chosen to join, to come and be part of this discussion. I wish that I could be here for the whole conference, but I'm having to do a lot of work around the elections right now. So it's a time I can't stay and be part of this. But I can promise you that the path that you are headed down is one that I and many other people are very, very supportive and very, very happy and very, very appreciative of that path and the direction that you're taking. Tonight is the beginning of one conference, a first summit. But what I know is that there will be many gatherings and that we will come together again many times in the future. Tonight it's a kind of a beginning, but in the future we will be celebrating victories. We will be coming up with new solutions. We will probably be dealing with some hard times because life comes with great celebrations and with difficulties. But I'm going to be there, and many of the people that I work with throughout the state are going to be there celebrating and trying to address these questions. In this next week, I'm going to be kind of busy with elections, but some of you may have questions, or some of your friends, family, or colleagues may have questions about the elections, and I want to urge you to call my office, email, whatever it takes to get a hold of me, or people could contact you, I'm sure, in Amy Klobuchar's office. But we need to get through the next week, to get through the elections. But once we are past the elections, then we need to get to the business of overcoming isolation, of building networks, of coming up with solutions to real problems. And I promise you I will be there to be part of that. So congratulations again. Thank you to everyone who put this together. And thank you to all of you who've taken time away from your families and work to be part of this process. Thank you very much, Jim.